Welcome to Life and Laughs Podcast. It's your host, Johnny Sanchez and Elias Israel.
Welcome to Life and Laughs Podcast. I'm Johnny Sanchez. My co-host Elias is quarantined right now in a hotel room in Texas. He's been doing his comedy show, Traveling the Nation, not feeling too well, so he'll be back next week on the next episode of Life and Laughs. Now, today we have a great show. As you can see, I'm in the living room of the iconic TV show, The Facts of Life, which was one of the most popular sitcoms of the 1980s. And we have today on the show one of the original cast members. Her name is Julie Piekarski. She played Sue Ann. So let's get right into that interview right now. On the Life and Laughs Podcast, Miss Julie Piekarski. Yes.
Hey, hi everybody. Thanks for having me, Connie. I appreciate it.
I am so thrilled. Everybody that was alive or kids or anything during that time knows the TV show, The Facts of Life. And I got to say, you still look pretty much the same.
Okay, well now I'm going to get all blush and red and thank you. It's awful sweet. Now there's some little laugh lines here and there.
It's so awesome seeing you and being able to talk to you. Now let's find out a little bit about you. You were born, I believe, in St. Louis?
Correct. So I'm a Midwest girl, born and raised here in St. Louis, Missouri. And then when I ended up getting Mickey Mouse Club with Walt Disney, when they went on their nationwide talent search, that actually what took me out to California to begin with. And then from there, did some auditions and things, and then landed the lovely role of Sue Ann on Facts of Life.
Which we all love. Now, are you back in St. Louis or in the Missouri area, or?
Well, yes, actually, I'm back in St. Louis right now. I'm working and directing, choreographing a project that's very close to my heart. I've been doing it. If I say how long, then I'm really going to date myself. Well, let's just say I've been doing it for a while. And so I'm back in St. Louis directing and doing that production. And then I'll be heading back out to LA.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Now, well, tell us how you got your start that led to show business.
Sure. So basically, since I was like 7 years old, I took, dancing lessons, kind of what the girls do. I have an older sister, my sister Jennifer, and we both were doing dance classes. And then as I was in there, there was a young lady at the time who kind of took an interest in me, thought I had potential, who now is really my mentor and lifelong friend. Janice is her name, and we're still very close and in touch. And she ended up kind of taking me under her wing. And then, so here in St. Louis, actually, there's a wonderful theater. It's the nation's largest outdoor theater. It's called the Muni Opera. And I did some professional theater and work there. And then, lo and behold, Disney went on a nationwide talent search. What you have to understand, Johnny, is this is back in the day. No cell phones, internet, email, all that stuff. So this is pre-The Voice, pre-American Idol. This was like the first big nationwide talent search. And so they were going all across the United States. So we just submitted a headshot and a resume, and they actually said, come to Chicago, because that, of course, is the bigger city versus coming to St. Louis. They were, heading there. So I went to Chicago, and I auditioned, and we were just really hoping it would be so cool if I could be on the show as an honorary guest. Okay, an honorary Musketeer. And instead, I ended up getting the whole thing. I think they said there was like over 25,000 kids that auditioned between 7 and 12 years old. And they only picked 12 of them. And I was one of the 12. And needless to say, my life changed forever with that whole thing, because I had never been going out to California. Then I was there and worked on the show and loved that. Unfortunately, that show ended up only running a year, but it was amazing because we filmed every day. And then there were other auditions that I was going on, but school was always important to me. So I would come back and forth to St. Louis because, again, no internet, no cell phone. So we're still kind of doing it the snail mail way and tutoring and all that. Anyway, and I ended up going in for the audition of Facts of Life and reading for the character of Sue Ann. And
how old were you at that point?
Okay, so at that point, I know I was somewhere between 15, I want to say, and 16, because I do remember eventually I had my car, and I would drive my car onto the lot of Facts of Life, and I had my little nameplate right there where I parked my car. I thought it was really cool.
Now, speaking of your car, because I saw a previous interview And how one of the reasons you were able to pay for that car, I believe, is from the Dr. Pepper commercials.
I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Yep.
Yes, I love that. And a lot of people will remember that after they see it.
I drink Dr. Pepper and I'm proud. I'm part of an original crowd. And if you look around these days, there seems to be a Dr. Pepper craze. I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper, we're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper. If you drink Dr. Pepper, you're a pepper too. Be a pepper, drink Dr. Pepper.
After seeing it again, I was like, I remember that commercial. And so that actually helped you pay for was it your first car?
Yes, my first. Yeah, definitely. It was a great commercial, and it was with David Naughton, who went on to do, what's it, American Werewolves in London or something. He did a couple different things, I believe. But yeah, that was really a fun commercial. But then after that, I went on and actually did the Taco Bell commercials.
A multiple choice quiz
From Taco Bell. Our subject, the worst combination platters. The question, which is your favorite? 1.
A scrumptious saucy burrito supreme platter.
Or 2.
A mouth-watering Taco Bell Grande platter.
Or 3.
A tasty Taco Light platter.
If you need some help, just ask. It only works. Your answer just might be.
So I was the spokesperson for Taco Bell for a couple of years. And actually, I increased their sales so much that I've got a gold card and I can eat at Taco Bell for the rest of my life.
Oh my goodness. Still today, all these years later, you're still able to use this gold card. It's life.
Yes, and of course my children, especially my oldest son. Let's take a run to Taco Bell, Mom.
Especially in college years, probably, because that's like a number one spot when you're in college. You got to go to Taco Bell.
It's a staple, isn't it? I think it's one of the food groups, I believe. I don't know. But no, and commercials are always, they're a totally different kind of beast, in the sense of when you do that, because it goes very quickly and you kind of got to get it all in 30 seconds, where, of course, filming a show like Facts of Life, I don't know if a lot of people remember, but you rehearse every day. And then on the 5th day, we taped in front of a live audience and we would do 2 shows. And for me, that actually was the most exciting part, in front of the live audience. Because see, it was kind of like the theater. And I love doing the theater and have that immediate audience reaction.
Yes.
And so we would do the first show, we would run straight through. And then we'd break for dinner, come back, and then the second show, if we had to do retake, stop, somebody'd mess up a line, we would kind of do it slow and redo things and do that. But there's a funny story that some people might not know about me. I did do another series called, it was a pilot called The Best of Times, and that was with Nicolas Cage before he was really known.
Yeah.
And also Crispin Glover, who was the dad on Back to the Future.
Yes.
And it was just before its time. It reminded me of what you would now call High School Musical. It was kind of like a variety show with kids, but it was just, too soon. But I did do a pilot with, and I'm going to say some names with people might not know or not, but Valerie Perrine and Martin Mull.
Yes.
So now the best part about this is the executive producer was Steve Martin.
Oh, wow.
So I bring this up because usually they have a comedian kind of warm up the audience, right, before you do it.
Yeah.
So imagine this. You're an audience member coming in to see this show. It's a new pilot. And your opening act is Steve Martin.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
My goodness.
No, so I've been really blessed and have a lot of amazing experiences for sure.
It sounds like, because you've been on many, many shows, but speaking of your Mouseketeer days, you weren't just a Mouseketeer, though. You were actually Mouseketeer of the Year in 1978.
Yes.
Yes, and someone else that you were a Mouseketeer with, who you went on to star on Facts of Life with, who played Blair, Lisa Whelchel.
Yeah, and actually we just met up a couple weeks ago out in California. I do keep in touch with the girls. Lisa, Mindy, I've always kept in touch with. Little Tootie, Kim Field. She actually was at my wedding and has seen my kiddos with their birth and stuff. Yes, we stay in touch. I haven't been as in touch with Nancy McKeon, but I think it's just because of timing and distances. But like I actually did know her brother, pretty well, Philip and stuff.
Yeah, who sadly passed away, I guess, a little over a year ago.
Correct.
I was so sad to hear that. Yeah, I was a big fan of him on the show Alice. A lot of people remember the TV show Alice. Yeah.
Too, it's when you're out in in Hollywood or California, and we were kind of all the same age. You can't help but kind of all get together, and socialize together, kind of hang together. So like he was on the show Alice, some of the kids that were on Happy Days, Scott Baio, the different kids. Now I'm really dating myself. At one time, and Melissa Gilbert was one because of Little House on the Prairie.
Yes. My mom loved that show. I watched it religiously with my mom. So yeah.
I think we need more shows like that.
Yes.
Highway to Heaven, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's so hard to find shows like that. You pretty much have to go to networks like PureFlix or places like that nowadays, which is really sad that you don't get more of those movies, No,
it's true. And actually that's kind of, and I might be jumping around here. So, but literally that's kind of why I kind of went back out to California. I really felt this strong calling to come back out and pick up my acting. I always knew once I, raised my kiddos, and I'm very blessed that I got to be a stay-at-home mom, and I really, knock on wood, got some great, amazing kiddos. And 2 of them are married, and I've got a great daughter-in-law and son-in-law. But I ended up getting in touch with some of the people at PureFlix, and that maybe Hallmark. I really would love to get involved with doing some good family-oriented, faith-based movies. But the movies, I think. We've done a lot of discussion about this between myself and other producers and coworkers about, I think we need to make sure we make it more mainstream, if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. Sometimes we got to make sure in order to make it more inviting for people.
Right. They have to have a reason to tune in that they can connect with, basically. Right. Yeah. Exactly. And that's a tough line, especially in these days, the political movements, everything, that there's so much involved that people really don't think of when they're watching a television show or a movie, of what the producers behind the scenes and who all they're trying to connect with, and I've seen it more and more as we move into past the political stages that we've been in lately, unfortunately. But so it's kind of hard, like you said, a lot of them, I don't want to say Hollywood thinks of Christians or religion in a negative way, but it definitely, to them, in their view, I don't think brings in revenue. And so it's on the back burner, unfortunately. That's my opinion. And I think we do need more of those, the morals and those things like that. But what do you think? Is Hollywood more about money over, morals today? Is that a big...
I'm really hoping, that the saying that I hear all the time is, God is up to something. I'm hoping that there's something out there. I think, it's a time and a place for unity and for people to come together. I mean, it is called show business. I mean, we all know that. You can't keep doing things if you're losing money. It is hard to do it that way. I do think that the new show, like The Chosen, is an incredible concept because it's the actual the people, the audience that's contributing and keeping it alive. So sometimes I think out of the pandemic, as horrible it was, I think there are definitely some good things, that have kind of changed things up, maybe to make it a new way to do things. I think in a sense of Hollywood and what they do, it's what I don't want to do, which I think sometimes is what they do. I'm not going to put everything in a box and label it. If I sat here and said, oh, Hollywood thinks this way about, Christians or faith movies, then in a way, I'm kind of being very narrow-minded as they are, if that makes sense.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah, that's a different way of looking at it. I mean, like you said, it is a business.
It is. And I do feel a lot of times people, they're afraid to take that risk.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. And, if they lose money, and then, obviously if you have investors, I mean, it is kind of a cycle. You have investors, you've taken their money, you want to bring it back, make them the money, keep it going. But sometimes we have to take that leap of faith, even in a general way, as I'm using that word faith. Right. For others, it's the real way of using the word faith. You got to trust and go and see what comes out of it all.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, because definitely Facts of Life has really impacted your life so much. What do you think of when you hear that theme song nowadays? What goes through your mind first or mostly when you hear that Facts of Life theme song?
Well, as you can just see, first of all, like I just giggle, I laugh. You know, it's interesting because a lot of times with interviews, I sometimes feel they're trying to dig something out of it. And I have to tell you, for me, it was an amazing experience. You're growing up, you're with a bunch of girls that become your girlfriends, you know, and you're going to work every day. It doesn't seem like it's work, except for the schooling. We did have to do our schooling.
Really?
Yeah, but I think of it, you know, like literally as a blessing. It was fun. It was great. I learned a lot. Charlotte Ray, all the adults on the show, John Lawler, they were wonderful. They really guided us, took us kind of under their wing. The writers, they were very intuitive. They also would ask us, they would say, ooh, would a 16-year-old girl say things like that? Or they let us say, oh, come on, we would not say that. We would not do that. So when I think of it, I think about, you know, good times, a family. I will tell you this, I'm not sure about all the girls, but I know for me though, even at that time, I was aware of an impact kind of that we could make, that you wanted to make, you know, that saying of to who much is given, much is expected, you know what I mean? So to kind of always be a role model in that regard. So I do know that with what we were doing and the subject matters that we were dealing with, you know, one is we did the marijuana one, that little one that they did. There was something about the IQ, and then the dieting one. I mean, all of those were very important subjects for, you know, young people that they were going through. And even today it still goes on. So what does that tell you, you know?
Yeah. And that's one of the things Norman Lear was known for in some of his other shows, was kind of pushing those boundaries, you know, and of course he did other shows too. The Jeffersons.
All in the Family.
Yes. And so those shows were really more known to push that envelope.
Oh, yeah, they were totally cutting edge.
Yes. And you kind of think back in some of those shows that, like the Facts of Life, I watched a few of the episodes recently, and I'm thinking those shows could go on today. And in fact, I think it might just be just as popular today, those shows, if they were seen of this generation, you know, which some of them are, because I know it's on some of the streaming services, of course.
Yeah, I know. I think, what is it? Me TV, Antenna TV.
Yes.
One part sometimes it's on Nickelodeon, and it's really sweet because I'll get either some fan mail or different things, and they'll say, oh, I'm watching you right now, and I love it. It's fun.
How does that make you feel to know that after, well, should we say how many years it's been?
Let's say I'm good. I'm good with age. I don't know. What has it been? Oh my God, 30? Has it been 30 years? Longer. Oh 40. My God, let's not go there. Forget it.
It's been quite a while. It's been a couple of generations.
Oh no, it's got to be. It's more than 30 years.
About 40 years, close, because the show debuted what, in 78, I think, or 79?
Yes. So, oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Well, great. Thanks, Johnny. Now I'm depressed. I'm totally teasing.
Welcome to Life and Laughs.
Hey.
But that's got to make you feel so wonderful to know that your time on that show, because at the time I'm sure you weren't thinking about that. I mean, it's a job to us, the viewers. We think that in more of a reality, that this is real, that these people, you know, we see them. We're how's Mrs. Garrett? You know, and of course she's sadly passed away. But like you said, you know, to you, it is a job, it is a business. But how does that make you feel to know that show, and in particular your character, has kind of impacted people, and they still remember you after all these decades? That's gotta. Oh,
it's flattering, overwhelming, humbling, really. For instance, I actually did, because being back here in St. Louis, sometimes I'll get some fan mail via, you know, a roundabout way. And actually, what's so funny is because I'll share it with my children, who are all adults, so they're adult children now. But I had a letter from Spain, and actually was written in Spanish. So I had to have one of my kids translate it because I don't speak Spanish. Belgium, Switzerland, Germany, and then I opened one today from the Czech Republic.
Oh, wow.
Reading these, it just amazes me. Because like you said, you get it, but you're not really getting it at that time, what you're doing and the impact you make. And then I had one wonderful young man write to me that had some challenges with his life, some autism and different things. And literally to the point brought tears to my eyes, my heart. And, he's like, can you help me? How do I motivate, inspire people? And it was like, I wrote back, what do you mean? You are amazing. You literally are inspiring me because you push through all these extra challenges and obstacles where a lot of people just give up and they don't even have half of those in life, So, and to be honest with you, that particular letter I did share with my adult children. And it's not about, oh, it's your mom. It was to share with them, again, just to remind them, you don't know what you do in life, how you impact people. My oldest son is a doctor. So I know for a fact with his patients, I remind him of his bedside manner. And actually, he's wonderful. He sings sometimes to his patients when they were nervous going into surgery during med school because he's got a great voice. My daughter is a doctor of physical therapy, and she's into pediatrics. So she actually will be working with children that have those kind of challenges. And she says they totally inspire her. And then my youngest actually followed in my footsteps and Broadway. He was on Broadway, Book of Mormon, and in charge of the whole tour. And unfortunately right now, kind of in limbo, but we talk a lot. Even for that, I said, but you have to remember what you did every night you go on and perform in that show. You have to remember those people have never seen it before. So you got to give it your all.
Yeah. And you never know what people are going through that you come in contact with. And just the slightest little thing, it may mean nothing to you, to them could mean everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So true.
And you have such a great personality, even back when you were on the show. And I've heard several people or stories talk about when you were cast and you were so perky and just full of energy. And you can see that it came through on the commercials as well as on the TV shows. And you still have that today. I see that in you today. So, we want to thank you for being on Facts of Life and all the other things, the joy that you brought to people, because certain people just have a joy about. My co-host Elias, who couldn't be with us today, he's like that. Certain people just bring out joy and smiles in other people. And I kind of feel like you probably have affected a lot of people that way.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Johnny. Thank you.
I want to ask you though, on Facts of Life, how did you find out? Because at the end of season 1, they made a decision to downsize the cast, and I've seen some stories that they hired new writers, and maybe that had something to do with it was hard for them to write for 7 or 8 characters in 20-something minutes. So how did you find out? Because you were a lead in a lot of the shows.
Right.
Even on the credits that come on in the beginning, you've got your own credit. And so it was it a shock to you? And how did you find out?
Okay, so I am such an honest person here. Part of me would say I've matured some of the memories. But with that being said, since it has kind of blended a little bit, I clearly, I'm not going to say I was devastated just because I wasn't raised that way. To have something totally devastate my life that way, I was grounded. But it was through my agent, because that's how you do things. So they had talked to the agent, and the agent kind of said, I think they called me into their office actually and sat me down and told me. And I think the way I am, my first thing was why, but it wasn't like why. It was more like, oh, why? Like, what could I have done better? About like, what could I have done? What could I have improved? It was a little bit of that. And then to be honest with you, I don't know if they gave us the main answer. It wasn't until literally I saw those same interviews with writers talking that I got more and more details. Because, when they say about you got to have a hard shell with show business, that's kind of what it is. One day you're here, the next day you're here, starting all over again. So, if you don't have a part, you don't have a part. You never really will know truly why. I just believe they said there was too many girls. That's, I think, they just felt there were too many girls, period. Yeah. But then as things went on and we heard things and the writers and they wanted to focus on and find each person a niche. And to be honest with you, I do get that. I totally understand that. Yet you'll see other shows like people always compare it to Friends, which succeeded and had men in there. I think that might make it easier because if you look at it, the character of Chandler and Phoebe, they were almost the same character, but one was a guy, one was a girl. Do you know what I'm saying? Where
there was a lot of similarities.
Right, where we had 7 girls. That's that's definitely 7 different types, if you want to say.
Yeah. Another thing, you mentioned how close you all were. I also read that after tapings, you would go, I think, across the street to a Denny's. A lot of times you guys would hang out there.
Yes, very much so. I actually when I went back out there last summer, I went to see if the Denny's was still there. I don't believe it is. Because and
That
then
would
also
have been great though if it was.
yeah, that'd be so awesome. But we did, and what's funny is then people would find out that we were there, and then we kind of had to stop going a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, because then people would start congregating. But it was a blast to go across the street. Yeah, I think there's even a picture I have of Lisa and I in front of the Denny's sign. And
Yeah,
you know,
I saw that. We talked about the impact you guys had. You actually got an award in 2008, along with the original cast members that were let go on I think it was TV Land, for favorite characters who went missing. How special does that feel? I mean, you're still being not only remembered, but awarded. I mean, these people remember you. And I know you talked a little bit about that, but that just, I mean, that has to be such an overwhelming feeling at times to know that you made a difference.
No, you're exactly right. It really is. And to hear I mean, it's wonderful to hear like a compliment like that, but I love hearing how I impacted. I mean, that's even more of a blessing back to me, you know, to hear that. And there was this quote that I got from the nun before I went off to Hollywood. And she's like, you know, you need to make sure you stay and, you know, don't change. And this quote is, what you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift back to God.
Wow.
And I've just always kind of remembered that, you know, that everyone's here, we're put for a reason. And, you know, and if you've been given gifts, and skills, you know, what good is it to keep it to yourself? You're supposed to give it away, you know? And so that's just wonderful when I hear that I actually did make a difference in someone's life. I mean,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
It is humbling, very humbling.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of the things we all want to do in our life before we leave here is to know that, you know, we've made a mark in somewhere, and you've made so many, it looks like.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, my biggest ones for me as a mama are my 3 amazing children. I have Patrick, Jacqueline, and Christian. For me, yeah, I've been very lucky. They've never given me any trouble, never disappointed me. Now that we're like, great mom, thanks for filling us up. But just really wonderful, good kids, adult kids now. But I think that was also funny too. When my oldest, my son, when he turned, well, he's 31 now, but when he turned 30, I was like, well, how can that be? Because I'm 30. How can that be?
Now, I think, is he the one that lives, does he still live in Memphis, I think?
Yes, he's still in Memphis, but actually he did a fellowship. He's doing a year fellowship in robotic surgery, and he had to go through the whole matching process again. So he and his lovely wife, Shannon, they're actually going to be, they matched at USC. So they're going to be coming out to California for a year.
Oh, you're going to love that.
I am. I'm excited. That'll be fun.
Now, do you have any grandkids yet?
Not yet.
Oh, are you constantly on the kids about, hey, I need some grandkids?
Nah.
No?
Now, right timing is everything. When it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was 1982 that you auditioned for The Outsiders. Yeah, and with all of them, and the interesting thing about that audition that I've heard several of the cast members talk about, they brought everybody into one big room, is that correct? A sound stage, and you had to audition in front of all of each other kind of thing.
Yes.
Tell us about that experience, because it's Tom Cruise. I mean, tell us about that.
Well, it's interesting because being with everybody, it was great. It was fun. But I have to tell you, for me, and I've learned now as I've gotten older, it's kind of like, just let that go. You know, you watch, you learn from each other. But there was a point when I was doing it, part of me was like, well, I don't know if I want to watch how they do it, because I want to do the character the way I've interpreted. And depending if, you know, say they're supposed to get a laugh or you're not, and depending how everybody else reacts, it's like, oh, well, maybe I should do it this way. You know, and the first thing they always say is, you know, bring yourself or whatever you feel that interpretation is for that character. You do you, so to speak, you know? Right. But yeah, so it's funny with the Tom Cruise thing, because there's this story, well, it's not a story, it's true. So I know it was in Westwood, California. I'm not sure why, but I was doing Facts of Life at the time. Tom Cruise wasn't quite Tom Cruise yet. And I was out there, and I remember we were somehow talking and kind of just chatting it up. And at one point he said, "Hey, do you want to go out or whatever?" And I remember I said no.
Really? You turned Tom Cruise
I know.
down.
That's why the kids are always like, "Wait, Tom Cruise could have been our dad?" And I'm like, no, think about this, guys. Then you wouldn't be or whatever you are.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. But but this was way back when. Like I said, it was barely, I think he was just starting in the industry at all.
Yeah. So you never got a chance later to say, "Hey, Tom, I've reconsidered."
Let's reconsider this, Tom. Top Gun, right? No, let's think about this. No, never did.
Well, are there any other celebrity type relationships maybe that you had back when you were young, before you got married, that you went out with, that you can tell us about, that you would?
Well, you know what? We were kind of kept pretty busy or whatever. And you got to remember, when I was there, I was young, but then I would always come back to St. Louis too to be tutored and go to school. But I do know, so Greg, the delivery guy on Facts of Life.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. We were all like so stupid. Like every time he came in the door, we really did. It was all like, and we talk about him when we were around the, like, the snack table. It was hysterical. There was one, if you remember Blue Lagoon, Christopher Atkins.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Maybe once or twice per se. But again, we all usually hung out in clumps, in groups.
Yeah.
And then Philip McKeon, I had, we went at that time, if he was in school and was going to like his prom or a dance, he was so sweet. And like, I went with him to a couple times.
Yeah. From everything I've seen of him, he seemed like he was a super nice guy.
He was very genuine, very, very genuine, real, who he was. Yeah.
Yeah. You made many guest appearances on other shows too. Tell us about some of the other shows that you had been on.
Well, I did do one on Quincy, if you remember Quincy's show.
Yes.
Yeah, that was funny because I got pushed in a pool. And
I saw that one today. I hope that was done in one take.
no, I had to do 3.
Oh my goodness.
It was like, and the one time the person that was pushing me in there going, wait, he tried to like save me so I didn't get all wet. So there was that one. And then I did Three's Company.
Mr. Furley, I told you
Hi, Terry sent me. Like I'm Julie.
Oh, the baby. The candy striper. I've been expecting you.
Hey, like you look really mature for your age,
No. You've got the wrong guy.
Hey, now come on, mellow out. Like Terry told me you were the shy type. But don't be so uptight. I won't bite. Unless you want me to.
No. Like really honest, no thanks. The guy you want is in the bedroom.
Oh, no way. The guy I want is right here.
No. You see, you.
Yeah, like I like the way you talk.
Whoa!
Oh, my God. Like far out. What a totally awesome idea.
Whoa, Lordy.
Yeah.
How could you?
Like you didn't tell me your mother was home. Listen, like, maybe we should do this another time. If you don't get grounded or anything.
Love that scene. What was that like, working with John Ritter? Such another genuinely nice guy from what everyone says, but also
so gifted.
Talented. Yes, so talented.
So, and I think one of the, I don't know as many as maybe now, but one of, the last, physical comedians.
Yes.
He used physical comedy, versus just, the drop down, jokes, one-liners. What I always said, it was so easy to do. He was grateful. He said one little thing. He goes, "Would you mind if?" I'm like, "Would I mind? No, give me something." What was a bummer is that it went so well. My time there was very short. We did everything like in 2 takes.
Oh.
And part of it was just like I would have messed up more because then I could have stayed longer.
Savored the moment a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we talked about your commercials and your acting back then. Are you doing or pursuing anything now?
Yeah, so actually that is kind of why, like I said, I went back out to LA. I felt like it was my time, and my kids are great. They're like, go mom, go do and see. And I kind of have my, what is the saying? I can't think of the saying. Well, anyway, I've got a lot of feelers out. Let's put it that way. And
all your irons in the fire.
That's what I was trying to say. Irons in the fire. That was it. But it's obviously it was awkward because I literally went back out there and COVID hit.
Oh,
so,
man.
Yeah. But that's okay. It's all good. I got situated, met a lot of, people, got to meet my old friends again, some college girlfriends. And the other thing that's kind of started to drop into my lap is maybe movie producing, actually. A couple of people have brought scripts to me, and because one of them, it takes place with St. Louis and actually something back here, and lo and behold, I knew some of the people they wanted to get in touch with that they never could. And I was like, see, there's a reason why. Yeah. And so that's kind of a new experience for me. So I'm just really kind of keeping my door, everything open, trying to say yes to things that I feel are right, and doors opening and go down that path. I'm hoping maybe something in the future with Pure Flix or some of those other kind of production companies. And
I can see you on Pure Flix or the Hallmark movies, which again, we talk about this a lot. My co-host Elias, I was in 3 Hallmark movies, but as an extra, nothing. Yeah, all the Christmas at Graceland movies, and so I get made fun of being a man, like in the Hallmark movie. I really love the Christmas movies, but so I get made fun of all the time. So have you had any special memories, maybe back on the Facts of Life or some other things that just stand out? Some funny maybe experiences.
So I have to say, probably it's going to be the Mickey Mouse Club because we filmed every day. There's a couple things. One was we would film at Disneyland. So we had Friday was showtime. So it was our Disneyland theme day. But we went there and filmed for like 3 weeks solid. We got to be in the park when the park was closed.
Yes.
So imagine you're 13, 14 and you're in Disneyland and nobody else is in there, right? I mean, how amazing. And then in the summer we did some live shows there. We performed one summer. We did 3 shows a day and 2 parades, 6 days a week for 10 weeks.
Oh, good.
And it was not work. It was a blast. Yeah. And like on lunch breaks, we go ride Space Mountain in the back door, and then we'd stay at night and dance to this band called Papa Do Run Run. I mean, it was awesome. So those were fun experiences. I remember with Mickey Mouse that we did this one show. Everybody can go Google it. If it's on, I guess if you can see it. It was a Mouseketeer Town is what they called it. And we all became old time like movie stars. I got to be Groucho Marx. Somebody got to be Shirley Temple. Well, we got to be on this boat, and the boat was supposed to be sinking. So how they rigged it was they had a platform with railings like a boat, but the platforms were all on like rubber tires. So there were 2 crewmen pumping it. So like it was like a storm was coming, and they'd kind of throw water at us, and then the storm would get bigger and bigger. So I had to be on it, and I always had a blast with the crew guys and everything. And I love Carol Burnett. I mean, I love her comment and everything. So we're on there, and at one point I'm yelling, "The ship's going down!" And all the crewmen took a bucket of water and threw it all on me. I almost fell over. Then they jumped. Certain people were supposed to jump off the ship. And then they're yelling at me, "Go ahead, jump off." I'm like, what? I wasn't supposed to. No, jump. So I climb up and I go, "We're going down." I jump off the ship. I never had so much fun. It was like improv, literally, and they're filming, keeping this show. But yeah, they loved getting it back at me. Dump tons of water.
That is so awesome.
And then one other really just cool thing was, as with Mickey Mouse again, we were on a set that they reenacted the dance number "Step in Time" from Mary Poppins. Mm-hmm. Well, they actually redid the whole set, brought out certain costumes, and one of the gentlemen that was in that dance number, actually in the movie, he was our choreographer.
Oh, incredible.
And just, some of those things, we got to do that, or you got to put on costumes. Yeah. I remember there was one, I'm not sure who got to wear it, if it was Allison or Lisa, and it was actually Julie Andrews' dress. Oh, my goodness. I mean, those things are just, right? I mean, how amazing.
Iconic right there. That's incredible. What do you prefer? What would you enjoy most, doing theater work or dancing or the television? What?
Oh, that's so hard to say. I think I'm probably gonna have to go with, because like with Facts of Life, I said I enjoyed tape day, the taping. I'm gonna have to say, I think I really do love having the live audience there. I mean, I do adore theater. I adore it in the sense that because you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that excitement level is just a little bit higher. Just you get one take and it's so there's a little more pressure, but that makes it that much more enjoyable, I think.
Right, and you have to always be on your game. Saying, where if you're kind of filming something, it's like, oh, take, redo, cut, start it over.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, that's another thing. I mean, but it's hard to compare them, because at the same time, when you're filming and TV, you can get closer and you don't have to do as much. You have that more intimate, because the camera's right there. With the theater, you have to be bigger and broader to reach the person in the back row, so to speak.
Yeah. That is a big difference between television and theater. You have to over exaggerate some of your stuff. So, and you came from theater first. Did some of that bleed over into your television did you overact at times?
Sometimes they'd say, pull it back, but a lot of times I think they kind of went with it and almost put it in the character a little bit. So then, because Sue Ann and Blair had this wonderful little back and forth, I always kind of thought of myself, is this almost like a Laverne and Shirley?
Yeah.
If you remember that show, I thought we had some good comedic timing going on. And so sometimes, by me being a little over the top, she could give me one of those Blair looks, what I mean? That look. And so I think it worked in both ways with doing that.
I kind of felt that too. I felt you two had a chemistry together more. Maybe she was, to me, and I think she was a little younger than you. Is that correct?
Like just a couple, like by 6 months, maybe.
Okay. Cause I always got the impression of watching you, like she was the big sister and you were like the little sister. It kind of you had that kind of chemistry to me. I thought you guys worked really well together. I would have loved it if you had another full season to see if it had a chance to grow,
right.
That original cast. That's probably a little bit frustrating to you, especially back then, maybe not so much as now. Did you face that the following few years of watching the show go on and the success that it had, thinking, oh, I was right there. I should, it could have been.
Right. I think there were parts of me that did, that might have, and kind of that, oh, what if, and could have been. But seriously, literally, that's when I went, when I was released from the show, I ended up getting then the other show that was with Nicolas Cage and Crispin Glover. So you kind of move forward. And then I also had, school, and I knew I was going to go to college. And I still dabbled in different things. So, and I did watch the show, but I was never like resentful. I wasn't. I think you have to understand, literally, that is showbiz, that you do have to understand that part of it.
Yeah. And that's something that's harder for people as viewers that aren't actors or in the business to understand. It may not be as impactful on you, like you said, it's a job. You just go to the next thing and keep moving. Whereas the fans are crushed, oh man, what, we want them back,
Right. Well, no, I mean, like, right. No, very true. But it's kind of like if I sat there and wallowed in it, you know what I'm saying? Or dwelled on it, it wasn't going to change anything.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like pick yourself up, dust it off, what's the song, and start all over again. There's a song about that. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, yes, I don't want to use the word devastated. It was a bummer. You're thinking, oh my gosh. I think the first thought was, I'm not going to get to use my talent. Then it's like, I'm not going to really see those girls again. And there is a little bit, you see this is success that's happening. But, I really did. I had some great parents that kept me grounded and kind of kept me moving and kept me going forward. Yeah,
and you're very lucky and blessed to have had that, because they call it the curse of being a child actor. For example, Different Strokes, which Facts of Life was a spinoff of Different Strokes. Did you get to know like Todd Bridges or Dana Plato or Gary Coleman?
I didn't get to know them really, really well. I mean, for what I knew and what I associated with Dana Plato for the little bit that we were kind of there, sweet, nice, wonderful. Todd Bridges was just your typical, age boy. Gary Coleman, the problem with Gary was just you forgot how old he was because of being so small.
Right.
That was kind of funny because I know we would have our shorts on or something, and every now and then you'd feel this tickle. You're like, what is tickling my, like right behind your kneecap? I'm like, Was that you, Gary? What are you talking about, Julie? You would say that line, but yeah. So that's when you go, oh, wait a minute. He was, with his illness and everything, he was, a little bit on the smaller side. So you better remind yourself, no, he's like 12.
Yeah, I loved both of those shows. You said you talked to Kim Fields and you've talked to Lisa Welchel. How close were you to Mrs. Garrett, Charlotte Ray?
Charlotte, actually, very close. I mean, actually, I think all the girls, for the most part, had some type of relationship with her. Yeah. But she was really sweet to me because of, I just think I was still going back and forth to home, where at this time Lisa had already made the move out there and the other girls on the show did live out there. So she was very sweet to, talk to me about different things. And I think she also loved the idea that I kept the schooling going, that it was important to me. But she actually had a wonderful pool party at her house, I'll never forget. She literally was kind of like that house mom to all of us.
Yeah, yeah. Something else that's very important in your life, which is very impressive to me, is your faith. I love that about you. I love hearing you share your faith. Has this been a lifelong process for you, or?
Yeah, I mean, since I was a little girl, I know people sometimes go, that one moment. And sometimes I go, well, wait, I don't know if I really had that one moment. I just know I just kind of always had it. I remember my mom one time coming in because I was a little girl taking like a bubble bath, and she came in going like, who are you talking to? I go, Jesus. And she's like, oh. So I just always had that. I do believe the background that I had with my schooling. I went to a private Catholic school with the nuns that they were very, the Sacred Heart nuns, they were very, you had your Catholic tradition, but they were very much about make sure you have your relationship, talk to Jesus, talk to God, that kind of thing. And yeah, it really always has. It really has. And I believe that's also what kept me grounded in the sense of Hollywood and being able to say no to some things. Because I did a couple parts come across the table, so to speak, and I said no to them. And my agent's like, are you really sure? And I'm kind of like, yeah, my dad can't come see it because I'm embarrassed or something. Yeah, no, I'm not doing it. And that was at 14. So when people ask me about that, I said, I think it's just really important. You need to know who you are, who you are as a person, your identity, and whose you are.
Yes. Definitely.
And just kind of knowing that. And I love audiences and I love live theater and playing to all these people. But a kind of a new thing, I got to be honest with you, I'm not sure who I coined it from. But it's, but I also, at the end of the day, I play to an audience of one.
Yeah, exactly. And same thing about integrity. Integrity is what you are when no one else is around.
Yes.
That kind of thing. And it seems like you've kind of had that faith engraved in you by your parents at a young age. Yeah. So
yes, very much so. And and you need to do that. And I try to pass that on to my kids, because like your name, your honor, because when all things are being equal and somebody says something about you, if they know really who you are, they'll be like, there's no way that person can do it. And, I did have some hard times when I would come back from the show, sometimes in high school or, it wasn't really in grade school, but in high school, I had people put things in my lockers, it was cigarettes or it was like alcohol or something to try to get me in trouble.
Yeah.
But they knew who I was. Who I was and what kind of person I was, that they were like, okay, who did this to Julie? They knew it wasn't me.
Yeah.
So I just try to teach my kids, that what you put out there, that's how people are going to view you.
Was that tough as a kid, because you were showing up in the Tiger Beat magazines, the magazines, and I remember even at my age, I was probably, when the show debuted, 8, 9, something, but I remember having a crush on you, on Lisa Welchel. Was that tough for you to get the admiration from so many people at a young age?
I don't remember it being tough. I think it was exciting. I don't remember, and I didn't have any, well, there might have been 2, like a little bit of scary incidences, where you kind of get a very over-friendly fan, that can be a little scary per se. But they kept us a little bit insulated. If we were doing a charity event or went somewhere, you gotta remember, if we were still like, until you're 18, you're supposed to have a guardian with you. And for me, my mom was with me. Mm-hmm. So she was always around. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of did have that protection, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Well, tell us a little bit about you today. What kind of things do you enjoy? What do you enjoy doing for fun today? Any hobbies or special things that you like to do?
Yeah, except sometimes it's kind of hard to do it right now, right? With all the restrictions. I love actually still my dancing. I still dance. I can still do my splits, which drives my kids crazy. I said, hey, it's gonna be on my tombstone. She can still do the splits at 100. That's what I'm gonna say. Hey, um, but no, actually, I love dancing. One of my things I really want to do when this is all opened up again is the ballroom dancing. Like I would love to be on Dancing with the Stars.
I saw that.
That is my dream. I would love to do it.
You would be so perfect for that because I've seen some of the videos.
Write in and tell them that. Tell them.
I will. I think we got to get that petition going. We've got to get something started because you would be so perfect.
Thank you. Well, they've never had a Mouseketeer.
Oh wow.
See, they've never had a Mouseketeer, so we could do that. So I still loved it. So the dancing I love. I've really gotten into hiking, especially out in California. There's so many beautiful trails, and my dear friend out there that I've known forever, she kind of got me hooked on it, and so I love doing the hiking. Traveling is important, but we can't really do that too much. But instead, I travel to see my children and do that. What other hobbies? I'm trying to think. I love catching up with my reading different books. I stay pretty busy also with doing devotionals. I do have my special time to do that. And have taken up some yoga and Pilates. I do that. And biking. I love doing physical stuff. Oh, one thing I did a little bit of was pickleball.
Pickleball. I'm not sure if I remember what that is. I should know that. I don't know if it's a
new thing or not, but pickleball, it is the new trend, and I played it a couple times, but I really want to, out in California, I want to find like a club or a group of people and really start playing that again. It's a great exercise. I love it. So yeah, picking that up.
Awesome. Do you have any favorite foods or things that because you look like you would probably eat pretty healthy. No? I mean, I'm not going to say
I work out. Yeah, I do. No, I mean, probably my favorite food to eat is French fries, which I don't eat now that much. I really don't. Yeah. There's an awesome food back here that if anybody really knows me, it's called toasted raviolis. It's known for St. Louis. So no matter when I come back here and visit, I have to have toasted raviolis. They're not healthy. It's like ravioli, but it's deep fried. But I've really gotten into, let's see. Health-wise, I do. Like, I eat sweet potatoes. I love Greek yogurt now, salads, and actually, I've really started to love salmon, fish. Fish is kind of hard because I love it, but I don't like cooking it. When I cook it, I do it when I go out to eat. If I'm out eating, then that's when I usually order fish. Yeah. Shrimp especially. I'm a shrimp girl.
Plus, the smell stays in your house for a while.
This is true.
Yeah. What is the biggest influence, or who has been the biggest influence on your life?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, well, now I'm going to get all emotional. I'm probably going to say my mom, because she's a very, very strong woman, and she gave up a lot to be with me out in California, and actually so did my dad. He did as well, and my sister. So now being a mom and realizing what she did, I mean, I just really admire her for what she had done and what she kind of sacrificed in that regard for me, to be able to go do what I did. Yeah. And being a mom now, I really understand that.
Right.
And see that. And then another little bit of a shout out, I have to admit, is also my daughter, because my daughter loved doing gymnastics and was gifted at it and just wanted so much to do it. And she actually did go to University of Alabama for it, but she was plagued with injuries off and on. And that girl, her determination, her perseverance, working through pain when everybody else maybe had given up on her. I mean, seriously, she was also just a wonderful inspiration for me as well.
Wow. Do you have a hidden talent that people don't know about?
Let's see, that they wouldn't know about. Well, I can do it. I don't know if you'd call it talent, but my kids joke about it. I have played the recorder when I was younger. In school, you had to play the recorder.
What is the recorder? I don't.
Like a it's a wind instrument. It's not a flute, but it's like a recorder here. And it's seriously, I barely can do it. I mean, I don't even know you call it the town, but you're trying to say something's hidden. I don't like hide things. So I don't know. Oh, well, maybe I'm working on this right now. Quilt, t-shirts quilt. I actually do sew. I sewed some outfits for my godsons when they were little bitty babies. For my sister, I sewed that, and God love her, she thought they were wonderful, and they really weren't. The seams weren't the greatest, but I do sometimes sew. So maybe that might be it.
But the fact that you made it is what makes it special to them, I'm sure.
That's what I say. So
yeah, they'll realize it eventually.
somewhere along.
I can't thank you enough for being on the show today. I mean, I've been such a big fan of yours in the show. And if I could go back and think about the 10-year-old me, if I would have known that I would have got a chance to talk to you, it would have blew my mind as that 10-year-old that was just in awe of you and everybody on the show.
Well, thanks, Johnny. Thanks.
Yeah. Now, it's always been a dream of mine to be an actor, which I've done plays and small films and extra work and all that. But Elias and I, and he would have loved to have been here for this, but I thought maybe you and I could do a scene together.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
It's from one of your most, in season 1, of course, you were in several, you were the center of attention in several of them. And this one, I believe, is from the diet episode.
Okay. Yes. All right.
So I'm going to prepare, and I've sent you something.
All right. Let me pull it up here.
And I'm going to get prepared here and get ready. And of course, on Facts of Life,
that's not good.
they didn't have very many male roles, so I was kind of limited to what we would do. So I'm going to play Blair, and let me get ready.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh, I'm scared. You're scaring me, Johnny. Oh Lord, what are we looking at? Did you flip it? Yeah, flip it around, get it going. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, I know I don't look just like Blair, and Blair probably didn't have
extra hair here that's kind of throwing me, but I'll go with it. There you go. Get the attitude.
My brilliant moments or ideas. Is that okay?
That's great.
More like Brett Michaels from the band Poison, I think. I think it looks more like that. I just need the headband.
Go with that. Well, you can do that. Use that later.
Okay. So we're going to do this scene.
Okay.
And I'm going to do my best to be Blair.
All right. I'm going to do my best to be Sue Ann.
Yes, you be you.
Okay. I'm holding this way out here now. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Mrs. Garrett, have you seen Sue Ann?
No, Blair, I haven't.
Sue Ann, get your fanny down here.
Why? What's going on?
Why? I just got you a date for the Bates Academy dance. Mr. Big, Scott Dunbar III.
Is that the guy who's on the football team?
Not just the football team. He's on the tennis team and the debating team. He's got it all. He's got the looks, the builds. He's going to call you this afternoon.
Oh, he sounds heavy duty, Blair.
It's not any more heavy duty than you are. And if I were you, I would lose a little bit of that, because every girl that I've ever seen him with has been straight out of a Vogue magazine. Go ahead, keep shoveling it in.
You're in running for Chubbut of the Year yourself, Blair.
We'll see who the porker is. I am so sorry to put you through that. What a sport for doing that. I kind of don't know if I want to take this whole thing off here?
I don't know. Close out with it, Johnny. Get your tagline and close out.
What a brilliant idea. Thank you so much for being here. Huge fan of yours, and may God bless you in all that you do. We'll keep following you on your social media. Is there somewhere that people could follow you? I know I follow you on Instagram.
Yeah, actually, that would be great. It's at Julie Piekarski. That would be great. I'd love to have people come on, give comments. I would love that.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for this part of the show.
Doesn't it? See, doesn't it just make you want to flip the hair? Now you'll understand why we do this.
Thank you so much, Julie.
All right, thanks. And tell Elias I said hey. Sorry to miss.
Definitely will. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
What a great interview with Miss Julie Piekarski. Thanks so much, Julie, for coming on the show today. And guys, remember, you can catch all of our episodes. You can also get links to our social media accounts. You can email us. You can also see all of our YouTube videos. We've got links there on our website. That's lifeandlaughs.simplecast.com. Until next time, have a great week. We'll see you on the next fun episode of Life and Laughs Podcast. This is Garrett. You got Blair's number? Take it? No?